What's popping, everybody? Man, top of the evening to you. I hope everybody's having a blessed evening. We have a very impromptu, I can't even say the word, man. A fucking unpredictable live. There we go. I'm having a loss of words here. Impromptu live. There you go. There you go. My fucking English is falling apart here. Impromptu live. There you go. Thank you. Very important live though. Very important live. Very, very important live. We're gonna go over a couple things tonight. We'll let some more people get in the chat, and I'll go ahead and do a roll call and touch base with everybody. But we're gonna touch base on a couple things, man. One being corruption in the California Department of Corrections, and just some of the things that we've already talked about on this channel before that happen to people that are incarcerated, that are unjust. We're going to watch a video by a very important individual that's very well known, an individual named Ronnie Landell. And we're going to watch an assault that took place on him by the correctional officers in New Folsom and ASU. A very brutal assault. Completely broke his jawline. Chunks of his jaw were broken off, teeth, the whole nine. And we're going to go ahead and go over that, and we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to also get into Vegas profile stories paperwork, man. I mean, there's a poll up in the comments if you want to go ahead and, answer it. Do you think his paperwork's going to be on a stand up, or do you think it's going to be foul? I mean, I'm just curious. But we're going to get into that too, because we have some of his paperwork now. I have all of it, but we have some of it right now that we're going to go over. And then we're going to do a video with some body cam footage and all kinds of stuff included. But tonight we're just going to touch base on one part of this and let you all see for your own eyes what's going on. And you can't dispute this paperwork. There's no disputing it. So real quick, I'm going to do a roll call, man. Windburn 17 patron, man. What's going on, man? Vegas, man. Salute. Amanda Dita, salute. How you doing, sis? Nathan, I see you, brother. OC714. What's going on, brother? Herb Dizzle in the house. Andrew Horn, what's up, brother? Dusty, I see you. Snowplow, what's going on? Blue collar vet in the house. If you haven't, please smash the like button. Amanda Dita said I was the first comment. What's happening? Hope everybody's having a blessed night. So we're going to go ahead. If you haven't smashed the like button, please do. If you haven't subbed up, please do. There's going to be a lot of good content coming from this channel. So first thing we're going to get into is this video here. Let me go ahead and put something up before we get started. Where's my captions? This is an 18 and above stream. This is for adults only. This is going to be graphic, so please watch at your own discretion. If you have children in the room, please remove them. Again, this is a look at what happens. Like we've talked about it before. Like they'll pull somebody out of the chow hall line and want to search them because they think they have an apple or an orange, right? Allegedly, that's what they're trying to, and they'll get them against the wall and, they'll rough them up a little bit, put them in cuffs. And then, dude might turn his head just and say, fuck you. And as soon as he does that, boom, it's on. They slam him to the ground. They put boot to him. And if that man's got a second strike, well, guess what? He just got a third one, 25 to life. And that's how they were doing it. And they were doing it worse. And this is worse. And we're also going to cover the Brooks case out of New York. Me and VPS were talking. I mean, me and DVS were talking about that on the live panel that I shared in the premiere earlier today. And I want to cover the Brooks case too, because I think that's very important. But let's go ahead and watch this. I'm going to kind of stop it and commentate throughout it because I think there's some very important parts. But here we go. Let me know if you can hear it. Give me a thumbs up if the volume's good.
You broke my teeth out, man. That's some old punk shit you did, dude. 58.
Okay, let me go ahead and pause this. 8/26/24, New Folsom Prison. Ronnie Yandel asked to throw a shirt in the front of another cell to help a convict who had not received his property yet, as he had done hundreds of times before. This was a planned attack, in my opinion. And I want to go ahead and share this this channel. This is from Sunflower 33. The link should come up. If not, I'll drop it in a second. There it is. So hey, that's where this content comes from. So please show due respect, due diligence. The link is also in the description below if you want to hit it later. But please show due diligence and respect to the channel that presented this originally. Again, the name of the channel is Sunflower 33. The link is in the chat, also in the description below. Mass One, what's going on, brother? I see you, man. Dusty, I see you, brother. JS13, salute. See you. John Boy, it's good to see you, brother. I hope you're feeling well. Nathan the B-Man, salute. Corrupt, salute. All right, let's go, guys.
We gotta kick this down. We gotta go. I just want me to kick this down. No, we gotta go. You ain't gonna let me kick this down. No, we gotta go.
Okay, so he tells him, no, we gotta go. He's trying to put that shirt somewhere over through that door right there. He's not letting him. He's telling him he's got to go out the door that he starts to head out right now. All right. So what that cop is doing is he has a hand on his arm, right? He's telling him he can't put the shirt there. So then he's telling him, no, just go. Well, that's what Ronnie did. Ronnie turned around and started going towards the door that he told him to go towards. That's exactly what he did. That's following direct orders. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It doesn't matter if he turned around and started to walk fast. Somebody can't judge somebody's gauge of fucking of movement. Somebody can't gauge how fast their gait of walk is. So he turned and he started to walk towards the yard door like he told him to. And let's see what happens.
What's your name on a cold street? Enemy of the state. Green walls, ink of hate. Chain on your wrist, but your mind ran free. They could break his body, not the man he sees.
Why are you pulling him away from the yard door that you told him to go out of? Why is he pulled away from the very door you told him to go through? Why? Why are you dragging him away from the door that you told that he was heading towards? Why? I want to know why the fuck you're dragging him away from the door that you told him to go to that he was heading towards. Because it sure in the hell looks like you're dragging him away from that door that you told him to go through.
Don't move.
He's not moving because Ronnie is fucking unconscious right now. You fucking trying to play it off for the camera. He's unconscious. Don't move. Stop resisting. Phony COs playing it up for the body, warned cameras. Ron went unconscious as soon as he hit the floor for about a minute. Ron was 62 years old in 2024. And for those that don't know, Ronnie Yandel and others, Two Scoops and many others were, helpful in the short corridor hunger strike that allowed those guys to get out of the shoe finally after 30, 40 years. And unless you've sat in the Pelican Bay shoe or in Corcoran shoe or in any AS shoe for that matter, you really don't know what it's like. And to be in there 24 hours a day, 23 hours a day if you want to go ahead and count your yard and your shower, but you might as well just say 24 hours a day because a lot of times you don't even take your yard. Because you don't want them coming in your cell and fucking your cell up and taking every little thing that you have. So you'll skip yard a lot of times. But I digress. For year after year after year after year after year. And let's go ahead and go after decade after decade.
May new for some crooked blue. 30,000 hearts beating like a drum. Enemy of the state. You stood when the world said break. Turned the cage to a crowded prayer. Doing time for other men's crime. IGI got their revenge on renegade of the state. They cursed you and feared your name, but the walls had to hear you say,
He was out. He was unconscious. He just now came back. That whole time that they were sitting there telling him, stop resisting, don't move. Motherfucker, as soon as his jaw hit that floor, he was unconscious. This man literally broke. They broke chunks out of his jawbone, his teeth out. It'll talk about his fucking wounds at the end of this video. You tell a man to go through a door, you refuse to let him do something you've let him do time and time again when he steps out of the cell. You refuse, and then when he goes and walks to that door a little faster than you wanted him to, that's what you do to him?
Stood your ground, so they beat you down. Day after day, gladiator fights, in a race against race. Prisons across the state. Paper kites slid under steel doors. Hunger strikes convicts. California, renegade of the state. You stood.
So it's clear as day he was unconscious. He came back conscious, like I said, about a minute or so into the video. You can see the blood on the floor where he's leaking out of his mouth and his fucking head. You know, he's not resisting. He's not fighting him. And remind you, this is a 62-year-old man that spent many, many, many years in the Pelican Bay shoe. Many, I'm talking many.
When the world set free, turn the cage to a crowded fair. No food on the train, just faith in the air. Renegade of the state, Green Wall cursed you and feared your name. The walls had to hear you say, I will not die this way. Free people, can't you see? They are playing you too. They staged red or blue color to collide in a rift. They drew a thin blue line through the old blood.
Look it, they're pulling up on him. You can see it. They're pulling up on his upper body. Fucking assholes, man. Fuck, man. I can't tell you how many times I've seen shit like this, man. You know, I'm gonna kind of explain a few things right here. If you might hear in the song, it's talking about the green wall. And I'm gonna tell you, one time I was called into the office by my floor officers one time, and they told me, "Mr. Genovario, have you ever heard of the green wall?" I said, "I've heard something about it." I said, "Why? What's up?" They said, "Well, you better watch out because the mighty green wall is pretty big." And I said, "Is that a threat?" And they said, "No, we're just letting you know." And I said, "All right, well, thank you for the fucking heads up. I appreciate it." And I walked out of the office. So let me tell you what the green wall is. It's a group of, because their uniforms, their jumpsuits are green, like Ninja Turtles, little turtles, right? The green wall is a group of correctional officers that vow to silence. They vow to silence, and they're basically a fucking gang, is what they are. One of the biggest unions and strongest unions. And yeah. And then there's also what they used to call the Black Glove Crew. And anybody that's done time in California has heard of the Black Glove Crew. But the Black Glove Crew were tower cops that would wear one black glove on their dominant hand, their trigger finger hand, if they had a kill. That was the Black Glove Crew in California. So corruption runs deep, man. Don't think it don't. And don't think because I'm a changed man and I've turned my life around that I don't still remember the corruption and all the bad that happened too. You know, it wasn't just prison politics and stuff. There was a lot of corruption in there. Let's keep going.
Stand down. Stand together. When the storm was smooth, agreement in ink on a wrinkled sheet, enemies by design. And now brothers on the beat, in an office upstairs, they were losing control, so they paid off newspapers, judges and lawyers. Renegade of the state, you stood when the world set free. Turn a cage to a crowded prayer. No food on the trays, just fair.
And real quick, for those that don't know, what you're seeing right now is what's called an ASU. So a lot of times prisons would have, this will tell you how bad things are. Okay, this will give you an idea. So usually a prison will have a designated building. So like let's just say C yard, they'll have 5 building as the whole. I'm just using that as an example. And that would be the whole. And they used to have the concrete yards in the back where you would go with, like, we would go out with the South Siders, and then, you know, the blacks would go on the other side of the yard. We were segregated, kind of. And then they ended up segregating us from the South Siders too. And then eventually we went to the dog cages, which are those dog kennels that a lot of times you see in videos. They look like dog kennels. They have a toilet and a sink in it. It's like a cage. That's what they use now. You're no longer, you go out there with your cellie and that's it. There's no. But what they have gone and done, instead of just going ahead and just using a single building as ASU, as the whole, at each institution, they went ahead and built a completely separate building. And that's what you're seeing right here. You're seeing in New Folsom, you're seeing a completely new building that was built as a standalone ASU for that institution only. And you're seeing how many cells and cell blocks there are. It's massive. So now they have the whole, the regular whole, the building, and they have the ASU standalone, which is pretty much every prison now. So that just goes to tell you how many people are confined in the SHU.
Faith in the air, unity. No matter what race, renegade of the state, you haven't heard the last of Ronnie. Yeah, the enemy of the state.
Ron's gums were ripped from his jawbone with teeth still in them. Ron lost 4 teeth, fractured vertebrae, broken jaw, 70% permanent hearing loss from a ruptured eardrum, 6 stitches on his chin. And a sad pair of prescription eyeglasses. Again, that was originally shared by Sunflower33. Link is in the chat as well as in its description below. Please do due diligence and go show the original provider of this document and video some love and subscribe and say hello. Please do that if you would. To answer your question, JS13, Ironwood, Lancaster, Corcoran, Pelican Bay, Shoe, and Sad F, and lastly but not least, Salinas Valley. So yeah. Oh, man, it's hard to watch that stuff, man, because it brings back a lot of memories. And I just know how corrupt it can be, man. You know, I also, hopefully I get a chance. I want permission before I do it. But I want the okay, but I also want to talk about Two Scoop Story. Because Two Scoop Story is a sad one. And you know, a man that allegedly, I'm just going to say allegedly and everything, but allegedly fires a weapon but doesn't hurt anybody, hit anybody. How do they get 3 life sentences for that? That's got to be one of the most egregious sentences I've ever seen. How do you fire a weapon allegedly, hit nobody at all, nobody gets hurt, and you get 3 life sentences? I don't know how that happens. But somebody can touch a child, hurt the innocence of a child, and get a couple years. Make it make sense. And make it make sense to me, please. I don't understand. Yeah, JS13. I was down in Lancaster when Lancaster was popping, bro. Yeah, I caught my case down there and everything, bro. That place was popping, bro, when I was down there. And then I went back and visited as an SNY too, you know. So, but and it was vicious then too. So it's always been vicious. Lancaster is a dangerous prison, man. Salinas Valley was dangerous, man. Salinas was popping, man. But yeah, man, I'm just glad to be free. And our system is corrupt, honey. That's my beautiful wife, Leslie Dangerous. If you haven't, please subscribe to her. I'm going to be dropping some links periodically throughout the live. I'm going to be dropping some links periodically throughout the live. But now we're going to go ahead and get into Vegas profiles. Vegas, I see you in the chat, man. Let me see where this poll's at, man. I said, do you think Vegas profiles paperwork is going to check out? And we got an astounding 69% said yes, and 31% said no. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, we're going to have to see here. We're going to have to see here. I don't know. I mean, who's ready to see? Who before I do this, who is ready to see, man? If you're ready to see, man, I don't know, put a fucking thumbs up, or I don't know, a middle finger or something in the chat. Some kind of emoji. Let me know who wants to see Vegas's paperwork, man. Let me know. Because I got it, man. I got it all. I got body cam footage. I got all kinds of stuff, man. And it's all coming out. But we're going to cover this one thing first. This is pretty crazy, man. I don't know. Here we go, man. Let's do this. I don't know if I want to read this, man. I don't know, man. So, District Court, Morgan County, Colorado. You hear that? Not Vegas. Colorado. Let's get that straight first, right? Not Las Vegas. Colorado. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just plaintiff versus Brandis Childress. We all know that's Vegas. This matter comes before the court regarding the defendant's motion to suppress evidence unlawfully searched and seized. A hearing on this motion was held December 5th, 2025, and the court, having considered the evidence submitted at that hearing, as well as legal arguments by the parties and all other relevant circumstances, hereby makes the following findings of fact and conclusions of law. Relevant facts. On April 20th, 2025, Officer Takia Dabbs, now Takia Quick, of the Brush Police Department observed the defendant driving a white Pontiac Grand Prix in the city of Brush. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to have to keep going through. Stop sharing and reshare. Give me a second. I want to make sure I share in order. So, uno momento, por favor. I think this is page 2. Yes, it is. Page 2. Located in Morgan County in Colorado, Officers Dabbs knew at the time that this vehicle was suspected of having fictitious license plates based on another officer's contact with the defendant in the same vehicle the night before. The defendant and Officer Dabbs arrived at facing stop signs where they made eye contact, and the officer positively identified the defendant as the driver of the car. The defendant then waited an unusually long time before proceeding. God damn it, Rick. Officer Dabbs proceeded in the opposite direction and then turned around to follow the defendant. After about 2 minutes, it didn't matter. They were pulling your ass over anyways, bro. After about 2 minutes, Officer Dabbs located the defendant's vehicle parked in a private parking lot reserved for residents of a nearby apartment complex. She observed the defendant knocking on random apartment doors. The fuck are you doing, dog? At that point, she had dispatched run the license plate that was displayed on the Pontiac. The plate initially came back as no record found. Officer Dabbs drove about a block away and parked. She requested manual search of the license plate record from dispatch. The plates ultimately came back from James Davis, the former roommate of the defendant. The plates expired in 2020 and were not valid, which was suspicious because the plates on the vehicle displayed a current 2025 registration sticker. Officer Dabbs knew Mr. Davis. I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but this is just the crazy shit we do, man. Had been involved in drug dealings previously, and drugs and paraphernalia had been found in his car. The exact car now driven by defendant in the past. Officer Dabbs and several other officers further investigated the situation and determined the defendant did not live at that apartment complex. Further, none of the residents of the apartments at which he was seen knocking on the doors knew him or were expecting any visitors that day. Fucking dog. The property manager told officers that the Pontiac was parked in a residence reserved parking space. The property manager requested that the vehicle be towed out of the lot during, okay, that's page 2, so we're going to stop sharing. I'm dying, bro. I haven't even read this, so I'm dying. I'm dying. This is funny. I read some of it. I didn't read the whole thing. All right, hold on. I read the parts that really mattered. Hold on. Is this let me see. No, hold on. I need page 3. Hold on. I can't be skipping pages now because we all know. Where's page 3? Hold on. Was that page 2? That was page 2, right? Page 2. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, suppressed. The defendant did tell officers during this interaction that the car had no insurance and he was arrested for opening an uninsured motor vehicle at this time. Given the car's status, no valid registration, no insurance, the car's location blocking the reserved parking space for a resident of a private apartment complex, the request by the property manager to tow the vehicle, and the fact the driver of the vehicle had just been arrested and no one else was present to take control of the car, officers decided to impound the vehicle and it was towed to Brush Police Department. Officer Dubs testified that Brush Police Department has a policy to enforce trespassing. No further details regarding this policy were given. Her entire testimony during the hearing regarding any department policies consisted of only the following exchange. Prosecutor question. Okay, now is it your department's policy in general to enforce trespassing? Officer Dubs. Answer. Yes. While at Brush Police Department, Officer Dusty Quick of the Fort Morgan Police Department brought his K9, Rip, to perform a free air sniff around the car. Rip is trained in detecting PCP. Okay, hold on, man. Y'all listen to this, all right? Y'all listen to this. You hear this? Y'all listen. You listen up now. You hear? Y'all listen. Y'all listen now. You hear? Hold on. Where's my phone? Hold on. Y'all see this? Fucking idiot. Detecting PCP. So listen. Rip is trained in detecting PCP, MDMA, heroin, cocaine, methamphetamine, fentanyl, and derivatives of those drugs. Capiche? Capiche? We understand? He's not trained to smell certain things, huh? There's certain things Rip don't smell, right? Those are the things that Rip is trained to smell. Like there's bomb dogs, right? They don't smell drugs, right? Right? Bomb dogs don't smell drugs. That's not what they're trained for. Cadaver dogs don't smell bombs or drugs, right? Why? Because they're trained to smell cadavers. Some drug dogs are not trained to smell certain drugs. And why? Because they're not fucking illegal. We're in Colorado, goddammit. Do you know what the fuck goes on in Colorado? I mean, I'm just saying. Motherfuckers smoke a gang of pot in Colorado. I mean, do I have to?
Smoke weed every day. 420.
Nice.
Just saying. Goddamn, man. Boy, that's some danky shit right there, boy. Woo-wee. Yes, sir. All right. During the free snap, Rip is not trained to detect marijuana. Here, let me blow that fucking up for you real quick. Rip is not trained to detect marijuana. Brainiac. Fucking stupid motherfucker. During the free air sniff, Rip alerted on the vehicle indicating the possible presence of drugs in the car. Given this information, officers searched the vehicle without warrant. Inside the vehicle, officers found open containers of marijuana, drug paraphernalia, stolen license plates, and evidence related to burglary that occurred in previous year. As a result of the search, Mr. Childress was arrested in 2 felony cases. Damn it, Rick. He was arrested and charged with second-degree burglary, theft, criminal mischief in case. He was arrested and charged with forgery, theft of a license plate, processing of drug paraphernalia, possession and use of marijuana in a vehicle, no insurance, and fictitious plates. Applicable law. Warrantless searches are presumed to be invalid and a violation of constitutional protections. People versus Jansen, 713P.2D907, Colorado, 1986. Rick, I'm going to fuck you up, man. The people, fucking Rick, the people have the burden to show that the exception to the warrant requirement applies in a case where law enforcement executed a search without a warrant. People versus Turner, 660P.2D, 1284, Colorado, 1983. Law enforcement may seize a vehicle without a warrant only if a warrant exception applies. Exceptions to the warrant requirement include investigatory community caretaking functions of law enforcement, searches and incident to arrest, and inventory searches. U.S. versus Braxton. Another exception is automobile exception, which permits police officers to search an automobile without a warrant when they have probable cause to believe the vehicle contains evidence of a crime. People versus Edwards. In case of a search, probable cause means reasonable grounds to believe that contraband or evidence of criminal activity is located in the area to be searched. The determination of probable cause requires a review of the totality of the circumstances known to the officer at the time of the search. People versus Pate. The ability of law enforcement to search a vehicle subject to the automobile exception does not dissipate even when the vehicle is impounded by law enforcement and it is a police control and custody. Flora versus Myers. Okay, so that was page what? I went all the way down to 4 on that one, so we're on 5. Okay, now where's 5? Damn it. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. That's not it. Why is it skipping to 6? Hold on. I might have to email it to myself. Hold on. Here we go. No, that's only part of 5, though. Hold on. That's 4. Oh, my God, guys. Hold on. I'm just going to bring all these up, and I'm going to have to skim through them. Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I want to make sure I get this completely right so there ain't no misunderstandings. There ain't no this happened, this happened, this happened. I don't want none of that crap. None of that going down. Not on my watch. Okay, so this is 1, which I read. This is 3 and 4, which I read. Okay, that's up there. This is up there. That's further ahead. Okay, here we go. No, that's 5. See, I need the rest of 5, though. Okay, I might have to email this to myself. Hold on, guys. Oh, no, here it is. Bam, found it. I knew I'd find it. All right, here we go, man. Thank you for everybody in the chat, keeping everybody going, man. I appreciate it. Salute to the 53 in the chat, the 50. Please smash the like button if you haven't. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe because there's going to be plenty more content coming. If you haven't checked out the content that's already up there, please do. I guarantee you probably will like it. It's authentic and from the heart and real. The community caretaking function of a law enforcement is separate from any investigation duties and any search procedure pursuant to that function must be premised on conduct that is distinct from the investigation of criminal activity, People versus Quick. Further, the community caretaking function must be based upon standardized criteria of policies in effect for the law enforcement agency that address the circumstances for the seizure and or search, People versus Thomas. If no evidence is presented regarding any written or oral standardized criteria or policies governing the impounding of a vehicle, then the seizure was unreasonable and the analysis ends. Okay? So this is giving the reasons why things went the way it did. Okay? Nathan the B-Man, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for becoming a member. Much love, brother. A search incident to arrest is commensurate with its purpose of protecting arresting officers and safeguarding any evidence of the offense of arrest that the defendant might conceal or destroy, Arizona versus Gant. In many cases where a defendant is arrested on a traffic offense, there will be no basis for believing evidence of the offense might be found in the vehicle. There are only two situations where a search incident to arrest may be justified. If the arrested occupant is unsecured and could possibly access the interior of the vehicle. Second, if there is a reasonable belief that the evidence of the offense of arrest might be found in the vehicle. Perez versus People. In law enforcement seizes or searches a vehicle without a warrant when a warrant exception does not apply, then the exclusionary rule applies, and evidence discovered during the search or as a result of the seizure must be suppressed. People versus Syrie. So now what page are we on? That was, what was that? 5? We're on 6, right? Hold on, guys. Let me stop sharing. Where is 6? Okay, here we go. Here's 6. And these are all numbered. You can see the numbers. They're all numbered. These are all numbered. In the case, law enforcement towed a vehicle that was located on private property parked in another person's parking spot. The property manager requested the tow. There was no testimony regarding any policy or procedure of the Brush Police Department or any other law enforcement agency involved in the situation for towing and impounding vehicles that are parked on private property. There was no testimony regarding any policies or procedure in place for law enforcement regarding how to deal with vehicles that do not have valid registration or insurance. So in other words, the tow, the impound was totally unlawful. All right? So this is based on the judge's findings of what happened and the appeal and everything else. So remember, he had a paid lawyer. He had a lawyer. A real fucking lawyer that goes in there and does real fucking work, not a fucking public defender. Okay? So when you have a paid lawyer, they're going to go in there and they're going to research and do every fucking possible thing to make sure they get you off or they do what's right. And they make sure justice is served on your side. Period. That's what they get paid to do. They work for you. The people cited to People versus Marquez, Colorado, an unpublished opinion to stand for the proposition that the officer's subjective intent is irrelevant when the court looks at the reasonableness of a search and seizure. While that is true, it is also instructive to review the Marquez case for what else is contained. A description of the testimony given in that case surrounding the departmental policy for towing vehicles in circumstances similar to the circumstances here. In that case, a defendant was pulled over for speeding. The defendant parked on private property in a parking space reserved for customers of a nearby restaurant. The trial court found that such a situation could certainly impede the ability of that restaurant to conduct regular business. In approving the impounding of the vehicle pursuant to the community caretaking function of law enforcement, the appellate court found the record of the suppression hearing reveals that the arresting officer's decision to impound the defendant's car was based on the police department's policy. The analysis of the seizure of the car at Marquez considered the following question in order. Was there a departmental policy in place that authorized the officer to impound the defendant's vehicle? Question mark. 2, was the compliance, now we're on page 7, so I'm going to go to page 7, the rest of it here in a second, but I'm going to read what I can here. Was the compliance with the departmental policy reasonable given the specific circumstances of the vehicle when compared with the requirements of the community caretaking exception to warrant requirements? Question mark. The appellate court found the answers to both questions to be yes, and therefore affirmed the trial court's denial of the defendant's motion to suppress the evidence found in the car. Other courts, well, I'll wait to read that because it's going to be too hard for me to read like that. So now we're on page 7. Hold on. Fucking Rick, man. Fucking Rick, man. You troublemaker. You troublemaker. All right, here we go. Here's 7. See? 7? Here we go. Here's what I read earlier. Other courts and published opinions confirm this order of analysis. In Pineda versus People, Colorado, the Colorado Supreme Court upheld the legality of an inventory search after the towing and impounding of a vehicle, finding that the record showed law enforcement acted according to the policies and procedures of the Aurora Police Department. An officer in that case testified that the department's policy required police to take custody of and tow any vehicle involved in any arrest if there is no one present to take possession of the vehicle. Further, the department had a policy that officers had to perform an inventory search of each vehicle in that situation to make sure that whatever personal property might be in there from the vehicle is noted in the vehicle or on report that goes with it. That Colorado Court of Appeals weighed in on the issue in People versus Milligan. In that case, the court upheld seizure and search of a vehicle based on the driver's arrest for driving under suspension, even though the department policy contained some discretion for the officers to leave the car where it was found. There was testimony in the trial court that the Arvada Police Department's towing policy stated, wherever a driver of the vehicle is found to have his or her driving privileges suspended, revoked, he or she will not be allowed to drive from the scene. In such cases, the vehicle must be driven away by the properly licensed driver, parked and looked with owner's permission, or towed. South Dakota versus Opperman, the United States Supreme Court upheld the legality of community caretaking exception to the Fourth Amendment. In that case, the concurring opinion by Justice Powell emphasized the importance of law enforcement following policy when exercising this community caretaking power. As the court's opinion emphasizes, search here was limited to an inventory of the unoccupied automobile and was conducted strictly in accord with the regulations of Vermilion SD Police Department. The court outlined the department's regulations and contained in the trial court. Man, this is crazy, Rick. Woo-wee. All right, so we on page 8. There's a gang of pages. Hold on. We're almost there. I want to get to the meat and potatoes of this because that's what really matters. Is this 8? I want to get to the meat and potatoes of it because that's what really matters here. I mean, I could just fucking skip. As a matter of fact, I am. I'm going to skip to the end real quick and then we'll go back. So I'm on 7 right now, I think. Hold on. Nah, we're almost there. Let's just keep going. No, I'm on 8. Hold on. Okay, that's 9. There we go. There's 8. All right. So a complete inventory report. Each of these cases, Pineda, Milligan, and Operman, analyzed the impounding and or searching of a defendant's vehicle in the case. Vehicle in 2 steps process outlined above. First, was there a policy in the place for the law enforcement agency, and did law enforcement comply with that policy? And second, given the policy and the individual circumstances of the case, was the seizure search reasonable under Constitution? The analysis is summed up by the Colorado Supreme Court succinctly in People versus Allen. The existence of standardized legislative or departmental criteria constitutes a necessary condition of the community caretaking exception to the warrant requirement. While such criteria or policies need to not be in writing, they must be in existence. The existence of standardized criteria or policies is a necessary condition of the community caretaking exception to the warrant requirement. Just as the case Allen, in this case, the people presented no evidence regarding any specific policy that would give officers discretion or discretion to tow a vehicle in this situation. The only testimony elicited was that the Bush Police Department had a policy to enforce trespassing laws, and that the department and the defendant's vehicle were trespassed on the private lot. That is not sufficient to establish the existence of standardized criteria or policies that show the court how the department deals with these situations in every case. There was no testimony outlining what the department's specific policy or policies were regarding trespassing. No evidence was submitted indicating the department's mandates in such a situation, i.e., did the department automatically tow vehicles in such a situation, or did the officer have any discretion? What kind of notice was required before towing a vehicle? Question mark. In order to avail themselves of the community caretaking powers for seizing and searching a person's personal property, the people must establish that the power is being exercised in the administrative realm, separate and apart from any criminal investigation. See People versus Brown, Colorado. Community caretaking function is analyzed through the lens of the reasonableness of routine administrative caretaking functions outside the arena of criminal investigation. See, there has to be a pattern. It can't just be willy-nilly. Just in case, hold on, let me just show you guys something real quick. Here, let me show you guys something real quick. Y'all see that? Yeah. I've read me and done me some law, man. There has to be a pattern. There has to be a process that they follow continuously. There has to be a policy in place. They can't just do one thing for one person and another thing for another. You feel what I'm saying? There has to be policy that they follow. There has to be guidelines, procedures. If that was the case, they could arrest one person and treat that person one way and arrest another person and treat them completely different, and there's no grounds to stand on. There has to be some type of policy that they can fall back on, that the courts can fall back on to show, okay, this is, you get what I'm saying? If it makes sense. Where was I at? Community caretaking powers for seizing and searching. Community caretaking function is analyzed. Yeah, show that, Flame. Show that. Show us one of those, Flames. Through the lens of reasonableness of routine administrative caretaking functions outside the arena of criminal investigation. The court finds the evidence presented in this case fails to establish that the defendant's car was seized pursuant to a valid exercise of law enforcement's community caretaking power, as there was no evidence presented regarding the administrative mandates and policies. So what page are we on here? So in other words, the motherfuckers didn't have no right to even fuck with dude's car. They had no right to even fuck with Rick at this point. They had no right to search his vehicle. At this point, they're dealing with traffic issues. And they can't turn around and say it was because of the pot, because the fucking dog isn't trained to smell for pot. Let's keep going, man. So that was 9. I'm on 9. Hold on, man. Let me just take this down. It's easier. Okay, here we go. Here's 9. I feel like I'm that lawyer from what was that movie with the Joe Pesci? What was that movie with Joe Pesci when he came in as the uncle? His uncle, he was the lawyer. What was that? Hey, Vegas, what was that movie, dog? I forgot that movie, man. When he comes in with his old lady, she's like some Italian chick. I can't remember that actress's name. Fuck, I can't remember the name of that movie. The court finds the evidence. Okay, so where was I at? Seizing and searching a person's personal property. This seizure was not pursuant to the community caretaking powers of law enforcement. The court looks at the search of victims. Exception may apply. Man, where was I at? In order to avail themselves to community caretaking powers for search personal property, the people must establish the power as being exercised in the administration realm separate as part from a criminal investigation. Did I already read this? Because this seizure was not pursuant to the community caretaking power laws. The court finds the evidence presented in this case fails to establish. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to figure out where I left off. The court finds the evidence presented in this case fails to establish that the defendant's car was seized pursuant to a valid exercise of law enforcement's community caretaking power, as there was no evidence presented regarding the administrative mandates and policies, if any, of the Brush Police Department when it comes to dealing with vehicles parked improperly on private property or vehicle disposition when drivers are arrested, or even the procedures to be followed when a vehicle has no registration or insurance. So he got arrested in some podunk county in fucking Colorado, and they didn't have no goddamn policies written up. That's what happened. They just have no policies written up for their station. And it fucked them. It fucked them. As the Thomas case states very clearly, if no evidence is presented regarding any written or oral standardized criteria or policies governing the impounding of a vehicle, then the seizure is unreasonable and the analysis ends. People versus Thomas. Because this seizure was not pursuant to the community caretaking powers of law enforcement, the court looks at the search to see if another exception may apply. In this case, was this a search incident to arrest, or does the automobile exception apply? The answer to both questions is no. The judge found that the question to answer to both questions is no. So they didn't even have a right to search his vehicle. Is everybody following what's going on here? Officers Dabbs testified that she arrested the defendant for no insurance, no registration, and fictitious plates. All traffic stops, all traffic offenses. It says it right here. There was no testimony about any evidence that might be found inside the car related to these offenses, and without such testimony, the court cannot determine the likelihood that evidence of those traffic offenses would be inside the vehicle. Further, the testimony established that the car was sealed, towed, and secured at the Bush Police Department well outside the reach of defendant at the time of the search. There are only two scenarios in which law enforcement may search a vehicle incident to arrest. First, if the arrested occupant is unsecured and could possibly access the interior of the vehicle. Second, if there is reasonable belief that the evidence of the offense of arrest might be found in the vehicle. Perez versus People. The court cannot find either scenario present in this case. My cousin Vinny. There you go. Thank you, Ty. My cousin Vinny. Everybody following? Hey, can I get a 1 in the chat if everybody's following what's going on here? And now listen, Flames, like, the whole 2 murder thing that you talk about. You're referring to the story that I tell about Mad Dog getting hit in the cell and almost murdered by 2 people. I'm not going to say their names. Somebody that was on the yard with me has already commented in the chat, in the comments, and knows exactly who they are and who I'm talking about because they were there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like that's what you're referring to. So what you do is you take little bits and pieces and you twist things up in your head into what you want it to be. It's the same thing you do with paperwork. I read Viking Mindset's paperwork today. And guess what? You're reading it wrong. You're reading the questions wrong, idiot. It's asking, what would the mother think? What would the mother think? You're totally reading it wrong. But it's okay. I digress. You know what you're doing. You're a lawyer, but that's the same thing you do with paperwork. You pick little things out of it and then you just go with it. Oh, that's what happened. That's what happened. You don't even know how to read paperwork. You don't even know how to comprehend the paperwork with your 160 fucking IQ. You can't. You just can't comprehend it. That's why you can't figure out what the fuck's going on. You just see a couple things and you fucking go off and you act like you know what you're speaking about. You don't, though. You have to read everything with a fine-tooth comb before you just go spouting off the mouth like you do. You'll read 2 lines and go, oh, there it is, there it is. Nah, that's not how it works. But hey, I guess that's how it works in your world in Minnesota, right? We had somebody comment today, too, that said that where he did time at is nothing. Nothing. That's that prison that he talks about, that Max prison, whatever the name is. I can't. The dude commented about it. He said the name of the prison and everything. I don't know. I don't give a fuck about that dude. But he commented about the prison. He said that prison is soft as fuck and has nothing on California, period. Bottom line. And we already figured that out when he fucking, hangs around and socializes with Moe's on the yard. So I'm just saying. So where am I at here? There are only 2 scenarios in which I already read that. The court cannot find either scenario present in this case. First, the defendant, who was the driver and sole occupant of the vehicle, was under arrest and secured by law enforcement. He did not have any opportunity to access the interior of the car. Second, no evidence was presented to the court to consider regarding if there was any reasonable likelihood that the evidence of the arrested crimes, no insurance, no registration. We're on page 10. Okay, we're on page 10. We're almost done here, guys. And then I know this is kind of long-winded, but I really wanted to get this out here and prove a point here. Let's see if this will, hopefully this will. The court can, okay, yeah, here we go. It covers the rest of what I had to say. He did not have any opportunity to access the car. Second, no evidence was presented to the court to consider regarding if there was any reasonable likelihood that the evidence of the arrested crimes, no insurance, no registration, fictitious plates, would be found inside the vehicle. In other words, they have to have reasonable suspicion that what they're looking for, that there's something attached to a crime inside that vehicle, right? In order for them to search that vehicle, they have to have probable cause that something is inside that vehicle, okay? So they've ruled everything out. The dog couldn't fucking smell marijuana smell marijuana. So I mean, the fact that he hit on marijuana, I mean, it was, he didn't hit on nothing is what they're saying, because the dog wasn't even qualified to smell for marijuana. So what did he hit on? There was nothing else in the vehicle. They didn't find anything but some pot and the other, pistols and stuff. But anyways, I digress. They have to have reasonable suspicion to believe. So what they're saying, I mean, it's fucking comical. They're saying, how is the fucking the lack of registration and fictitious plates and everything? I mean, how is that inside the vehicle? In other words, that don't give him a right to go inside his vehicle. That's not probable cause to search. In fact, there is nothing in the record to support an assertion that the search in this case was a search incident to arrest, besides the timing of the search, which was conducted shortly after the defendant's arrest. The search was ongoing even as the defendant was being transported to jail, and was not finished until after the transporting officer had returned to the Bruce Police Department. The search, however, was undertaken after a positive indication from the drug sniffing canine, not because the defendant was arrested for traffic offenses, making it a probable cause search and not a search incident to arrest. That leads to the final possibility, the automobile exception. But the court need not analyze this search pursuant to the automobile exception, because but for illegal seizure of the vehicle, there would have been no free air dog sniff. So they illegally took possession of the vehicle and used the dog. So they had no right to even take possession of the vehicle for the air sniff. All right. I'm getting excited, my bad. And no alert on the car. There was not probable cause to search the vehicle at the time the vehicle was seized, and probable cause was developed only after the unreasonable seizure of the car. Therefore, the subsequent search cannot be saved by the automobile exception. Conclusion: because the seizure of the vehicle the defendant was driving was not reasonable and was not supported by probable cause, and because no exception to the warrant requirement exists in this case, the evidence obtained from the subsequent search is inadmissible. People versus Siri. Further, any evidence derived from the evidence obtained in the illegal search is also suppressed as fruit of the poisonous tree. See Wong, Sun versus U.S. Therefore, this court suppresses all evidence obtained as a result of the search of the white Pontiac Grand Prix driven by defendant on April 20th, 2025. The defendant's motion to suppress evidence unlawfully searched and seized is hereby granted. The order this 10th day of December 2025. Damn, Gina. Damn, Gina. What page was that? What was I on? That's the last one? Is that the last one? That's the last one. That's it, guys. So there it is. That's the reason. That's the reason why Rick was not sent to prison. Why Rick was found not guilty. See, that's what happens when you have a paid lawyer. Not everybody has a public defender. Some people can get a paid lawyer, and they fight for him. And they find any and every little unlawful loophole that they try to use to put somebody away. And they use that against the court and the DA. And that's exactly what Rick's lawyer did. Very well, may I say. And that's why Mr. Flames Trotter, that he's not in jail. And yet again, we show how you are just lacking in that 160 IQ. Not very bright. And we got plenty more to come, but we're not going to do it tonight. I know it's getting late. It's 10:06. There's 43 people in here. Salute to everybody in here. But yeah, I mean, people putting out all these false allegations and lies and nonsense about people, and then people platforming people that talk shit about their supposed friends, and platforming people that just lie and spew nonsense and have no idea what the fuck they're talking about is insane to me. But hey, what do I know? I don't know nothing, right? Um, he can't comprehend, honey. He can't comprehend what he reads. I think he can read. He just can't comprehend what he reads. And it might be because he's fucking drinking already. He probably starts drinking early in the morning. I wouldn't doubt it. He's obviously an alcoholic. And usually, as we know, alcoholics start drinking first thing in the morning. And I think he drinks first thing in the morning. I think he starts pounding booze. I don't think he gets wasted. I just think he's a functioning alcoholic. And I don't think he comprehends what he reads. I think he's got wet brain. But I'm just saying, man, salute to Rick. There's going to be more to come. We're going to do a video on this. There's body cam footage, all kinds of stuff. All right, hold on, Rick. Let me pull him up. I got to email him to myself. I'm going to show you guys the emails from Rick's lawyer. Give me 1 second. I'm going to have to email him to myself. Okay, hold on, Rick. All right, hold on. I didn't anticipate on sharing these, so hold on. All right, hold on. Let me pull them up. Let them come through real quick. Let me see. I gotta find the first one. What happened, man? Hold on, bro. I'm trying to find the one that you're talking about. Okay, that's that one. Okay, so let me pull this one up. These are good, right, Rick? Because I haven't edited them or nothing, bro. I haven't updated these or nothing. I'm just pulling them up, bro. So they're good, right? All right. All right, so here's an email from his lawyer. Hey, pal, wanted to update you on your case. I did meet briefly with Miss Weird, who is handling your case. Unfortunately, it was a very brief discussion. She was going to review the file again and get back to me. She hasn't as of yet. When I did hear something, I will reach out to you immediately. What is the status of your brother's case? We may have to take the posture of setting for trial, get things moving forward. As a reminder, we are set for November 7th. All right, hold on. Let me pull up the other ones. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me download this one. Pull this one up. I don't think people realize this isn't always the easiest to do. It takes time. And you got to be careful not to make mistakes because you can pull up stuff that is personal that you don't want people to read. Like, like bank stuff and emails from your bank and stuff. You just got to be careful. I'm pretty comfortable going to trial if we need to. That doesn't scare me. I believe that we have a really, really good chance at having this thrown out. They had Walmart workers searching my car, opening the door themselves with the police before anything was found. They have faulty probable cause to pull me over and do the second search. We have a drunk cop, probably. We have a cop pulling slide offhand to introduce new evidence into my bag. We have a police officer that turned his camera off 10 times in an hour-long stop. We have the same officer using my keys to violate the other people's rights by trying to open their door illegally with my keys. We have gaps where we don't even know when the evidence got to the police station or how it got there. We have a firearm that was smooth on the window where the serial number should have been, that looks absolutely obliterated now, but it was smooth on their camera when they pulled it out of the car. That same firearm, did they call unseized or defaced, has what's called a matrix code in one of those barrel windows, which is a special thing Smith & Wesson did. It's like a QR code, but you run it. So I can't really see the rest of it. It's cut off, but hold on. There's more. Smith & Wesson did. It's like a QR code, but you run it with their Matrix software and it tells you everything about the gun, including the serial number. Those guns belonged to my brother and they were underneath the center console, not it under it. We also have at the end of one of the dash cams when Officer Quick is picking up Sergeant Hodell's car from the Walmart's parking lot. He's talking to somebody on his cell phone and he says, and tell them they're still legal. Then he realized the dash cam was on and says, oh no, and turns the camera off. They don't have me leaving that store. And I've seen receipts, the receipt that Rick had, I mean, all kinds of stuff. There's so much evidence that got this thrown out. It's insane. They don't have me leaving that store. They don't have me on video from the store with anything. All they have is me admitting that I took a quart of oil and 2 12-pack of Dr. Pepper, and they turned that into a felony stop with 2 searches, taking over an hour after putting me in handcuffs and calling me in custody to the point that I had to call for an ambulance. Since when do misdemeanors begin with you being put in handcuffs? My original time of detainment was way off, and I was detained while they investigated somebody else's crime, not even mine, for well over 40 minutes before they started the second search. That's unreasonable. Hold on. Yeah, they totally dropped the ball. They fucked up big time, for sure. All right, so this is the other one. This is the last one here, the emails. Start of the second search. That's unreasonable, and I should have been there as long as it took to investigate that crime I'm being accused of. Instead, they took all the time attempting to prove some conspiracy and pin somebody else's crime on me, charging me with $1,200 worth of stolen goods when they found less than $100 worth of anything in my truck. So there you go, guys. We're like I said, there's more that we're gonna be going through and sharing and talking about and going over. But yeah, Rick Rick's case was dismissed because there was no evidence. There was no procedures followed. So that's why he's not in prison. It has nothing to do with anything else. Everything Rick has told is the truth. Everything he has said is the truth. It's facts. You guys just heard it. You guys just saw it with your own eyes. I mean, it's insane, man. People need to stop lying and definitely stop giving people platforms to lie. There's two more. Hold on. Let me try and find them. All right, hold on. I got it. I got him. Hold on. I didn't see those ones down there. I'll bring them up right now, Rick. I'm gonna take a smoke break, man. Hold on a minute. What's going on, everybody? Hey, man, smoke them if you got them, man.
Smoke weed every day.
I'll read them right now, Rick. Hold on. I just emailed them to myself. I'll pull them up. I'm gonna take a smoke break real quick, though, man. Say hi to the chat, man. See what's going on in the chat. But yeah, man, all this nonsense, man, about Rick being lied, deceitful, lying, and all this crap, man. Y'all need to stop with the shit, man. Seriously. Like that kind of shit didn't fly in prison where I came from, man. If you started talking shit about somebody and you didn't have paperwork to back that, man, you better fill your hand and go deal with that. If not, you're the one getting dealt with. Period. Like you come on a yard and you start talking about somebody's bad and you ain't got paperwork, you better go handle it. And then if you handle it and it comes facts that it was a bad call and dude wasn't bad, now you done. You through. And if you don't go deal with it, you're getting dealt with next yard. Because the dude you're calling a rat is probably going to poke something in you, and if he don't, somebody else will. I mean, that's just the way it functions in there. Like, I don't know where you did your time at, but like, buddy, like bro, there's some Y yards I was on were harder than fucking yards you were on, bro. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. But my boy Rick ain't done nothing wrong, man. You better shut the fuck up. Just saying. Flamer. Fucking weirdo. Something wrong with you, dude. Something wrong with you, bro. Seriously. Weird looking motherfucker, too, bro. He's a weird looking motherfucker. Strange looking motherfucker. And what's up with your melon, bro? And don't tell me you've been beat over the head a bunch of times and shit. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
We're not buying it. We're not buying it no more. Smells like straight cow manure to me. Straight dookie. Straight cow manure, man. Let me tell you. Straight horse shit. All right, we're coming up with these other ones, Rick. Hold on. See, we like to come with facts, man. That's what we like to come with, facts. You know, that's the best thing to do is come with facts. When you come with facts, then, you know, you ain't got nothing to worry about, man. When you tell the truth, you ain't got nothing to worry about. So, update. Wanted to touch base with you regarding your case. The DA has taken a solid look at your case. In doing so, she cannot outright dismiss the case. That being said, she agrees that there are valid issues. She is willing to offer a 12-month probationary sentence to theft and an M2 and dismiss everything else. I have to travel to Ray tomorrow for a hearing. I will call you in the morning. I think it is a fair resolution. Give it some thought, and I'll find you over the phone. I'll find you over the phone in the morning. I believe you are having the necessary information to appear via WebEx. If you need assistance, please reach out to. Okay. Anyways, let's take that down. And there's another one. Hold on. Hi, Thor. I really appreciate the work you've put in so far. My problem is the case will be thrown out most likely in the motion stage. If I take probation, I'm stuck here in Colorado. I'm leaving the state as soon as this case resolves itself, and I can't take any deals that prolong that when I know the case should be thrown out completely. I can't take any deals that end with me owing Colorado anything. If I had to handpick a case I'm willing to stand trial on, it's this case. So there you go. Rick didn't even want to take probation, you idiot. He wasn't even about to take probation. He said, let's go to trial. I don't give a fuck. And he bet on Red, and guess what? Red won. Hey, Red won. It won. It fucking won. And guess what? You're full of shit. So now what? Now what? And guess what I did today? I called the California Department of Corrections, Sacramento, and guess what I ordered? All my RVRs, my rule violation reports, all the finalized rule violation reports. And what that means is it has everything that I said in the hearing in the report. So it's a final copy of my rules, 115 rules violation reports. So there's about 13 of those coming. Then I have all my 114D lockup orders. Those are what you get when you go to the hole, when you get busted for something in the institution, when you get busted for battery with, a weapon, whatever the case may be. Whenever you go to the hole, to the shoe, catch a shoe term, you're going to get a 114D lockup order. Another thing I asked for was all my 128G chronos. So those will be coming in the mail. And when I get those, I'm going to be doing a video on each RVR. And I'm going to share the RVR with you and explain exactly what led up to it, how it went down, everything. And you can read the RVR with your own eyes. So we're going to do that. But, yeah, he said we taking this to the box, Bigfoot. He wasn't playing around. Shamrock, man, what's going on, brother? Salute, man. Good to see you, Jen. I see you, sis. Uncle Dave in the house. Rick said, I may be old and everyone can say I'm soft, but you ain't met a dude that said fuck a misdemeanor probation and legal face trial on 15 years of charges. That's facts. Just saying. Bigfoot, man, what's happening? OC714. Always, Eddie. The truth shall set you free. Crookside Wood, what's up, brother? Good to see you, Crookside. Shabazz, what's happening, Shabazz? Man, Anita in the house. Good to see everybody. Dusty, how you doing, brother? Love you, bro. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man. So, hey, I just wanted to go live and share this with you guys. Like I said, there's a lot more to come. There's some body cam footage and stuff. I'm probably going to put together a video on this. And then soon I will be going on Rick's channel and we'll be speaking on the ride and the history of what happened, the original, the origins of the ride, where it started, the first prison it was ever seen in, how it spread out throughout the system, then being recognized by one of the big four and so forth, and just go from there. But we're going to talk about that too. So I'll be going on Rick's channel to do that. And here in this week sometime, I'll be doing the video on the rest of his stuff. But I mean, honestly, everything that needs to be said pretty much was said tonight. I mean, what you just read was the court's hearing. That was their finding. They threw that case out. There was nothing. You know, so there's really nothing that needs to be said. You know, the case was dismissed. It's thrown out. I mean, it don't get any easier than that as far as paperwork is concerned. So, you know, I don't know what dude thinks he's trying to find or whatever, but it's kind of fucking funny. But I digress, man. Well, see, there's more to it behind. See, I'm not gonna say too much. I'm gonna bite my tongue, but I'm gonna say this. There's more to it than that. I'm just gonna say that there's a lot more to it than that. There's a little more to the whole Flames Trotter thing than people realize, and I'm not even talking about him being a Fed or anything like that. There's more to it, man, and that dude can't even share his screen. You think he can make an AI video? He can't even figure out how to share his fucking screen on his laptop or his computer. It's really simple. You can do it on YouTube now, on just regular YouTube. You don't even have to have a streaming platform like I do. It's very simple. It says right there on the screen, share your screen. Not very hard, right? So, I mean, and you think he can make AI videos like he does? Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You think we all foolish? You think we stupid? We've seen this game played before. Don't forget that. We've seen this played before. A few times. This game ain't new. You know, just saying, man. Hey, Jen, have you talked to Weavy? Did I see anything in there, man? Jen? Uncle Dave, does she? Man, she's beautiful, man. I love her so much, man. Yeah, she's a fawn, bro, man. She's my baby, man. She's in there sleeping in the living room right now on the couch, man. That's my baby girl, man. I was out there hanging out with her today in the living room, chilling with her, man. Nah, man. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Savage, man. You know? Unfortunately, it didn't. I tried talking to him. Well, I hope Weevy's all right. I've sent him some messages and stuff, and I think I sent him a friend request on Facebook, but I haven't got a response back yet. You know, I sent a message out to him on the live earlier, but you know, you got a lot of people that love you, Weevy. So, man, if you see this, you hear this, whatever, man, reach out, bro. Touch out to your brother, man. I'm worried about you, dude. And there ain't nothing that could have happened or anything, man. That's gonna change my love for you, bro, or my concern. So yeah, I just really want to know you're all right, bro. That's pretty much it. Even if it's just a message, just let me know you're here, man. I'd appreciate it. Is he in here? Did he come in? Did you talk to him? Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad he's okay, I guess. Yeah, he is a crash out, bro. Dudes, that's all he is, bro. Listen, he gets drunk and he crashes out, man. That's what he does. He gets drunk and he crashes out. And it's probably great that he can't have a driver's license right now. And then he's got a chick in his life that ain't going to let him just take off in the car because he's an idiot. He's a crash out. I've seen many like him. And it's stupidity. But he thinks he's going to get somewhere here, and he's not, man. He really isn't. It's obvious what's happening. It's obvious where a lot of this is stemming from. His own words he tells on everybody and everything when he's on panels, and he blurts it all out there. Just like he said, Plug told him not to fuck with me. Behind the scenes. Plug told him not to fuck with me behind the scenes. I'm a Nazi lowrider dropout, not to fuck with me. That's what he said. I mean, it's just crazy, man. This shit is weird. It's fucking weird as fuck. I don't get it. And I don't care to get it. But all I know is this channel right here, right now, is going to keep fucking pushing forward. We're going to look, hey, check this out, man. Where we at right now, man? I'm like checking the numbers, man. I'm like hyped right now. Salute to all the new subscribers, man. Much love to you guys, man. We started out the beginning of this week or whatever it was with 9,950 something, whatever it was, subs. We got up there to like 4 away from 10,000. And now we're at 10,252 subs already, just in a matter of a few days. So thank you guys so much, man. It means a lot, man. And we're just going to keep moving up. But it's facts, man. Facts is what you kill them with, man. Facts and success. That's what you beat them with. Facts and success. That's what you beat them with. Facts and success. And that's what we're going to continue to do around here, man. Uncle Dave, I got you. Hold on. I need to get in the chat, man. Hold on, man. Which one, Uncle Dave? Hold on. No. When? Did I yell at you on the phone? When? When was that? Are you serious? When did I yell at you on the phone? Man, we're going to have to talk now. Now you're going to, hey, I'm going to have to hit you up now. Now we're going to have to link up. Hey, does anybody got my number? It's got Uncle Dave's number in the chat. Vegas, you got Uncle Dave's number? I don't even remember doing that. Vegas, you got Uncle Dave's number? I don't remember that, bro. If I did, bro, I apologize, bro. I went on the phone? Oh, on Hood Stocks. On Hood Stocks? Oh. Was it Hood Stocks? Oh, Instagram. I don't remember, bro. You're gonna have to tell it to me someday. I don't know. We're gonna. Oh, I thought he had a fake Instagram. Oh, I think I remember now. That was a while ago, bro. That was a long time ago, dude. That was a long time ago. I did too, Jen. I thought you were somebody else though. On the real. I thought you were somebody else. I really did. I'm not gonna say who, but I thought you were somebody else. I thought you were somebody else, man. I really did. And it kind of threw me off. But that's why. But nah. Hey, that's all good, man. Uncle Dave's good people, man. Uncle Dave been around for a long time, man. Hey, you guys don't know, man. Like we used to have a lot of fun on here. Like there used to be a time when there wasn't all this drama, man. There used to be a time when we'd have panels loaded up and motherfuckers would be smoking and drinking and chilling on Friday, Saturday nights and just vibing. And we actually used to have a pretty good time on here, man. Not on my channel necessarily all the time, but just in general in the prison genre. Actually used to be kind of fun. I don't know what the hell happened. Shit just went fucking south and it's been all bad ever since. But man, we used to have a good time, man. There used to be a time where we used to really have a good time on here, man. You know? It's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. We're out here in the free world, man. We should be living it up, man. Enjoying life, man. Every second we got, man, because we never know when tomorrow could be taken from us, man. And instead, we out here dealing with some bullshit, man, acting foolish and shit, man. Come on, man. Unless it has something to do with children, man, who gives a fuck anymore, man? Like, if it ain't got nothing to do with kids, man, leave it alone, man. It's a bunch of bullshit, anyways, man. We're on the streets chilling. Eternal optimism, man. Optimist, what's going on, man? I'm going to say he yelled at me too, since most other channels can put out accusations, don't require evidence. Oh, man, that's funny, bro. That's true, though. It seems like it. Facts and success. Yes. 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 It's good to see all you guys, man. I did shots with Uncle Dave and Timmy on Dave's birthday on his live. That's right. See, that's what I mean, man. There used to be a time, man, when we used to really have a good time on here, man. I don't know what happened, man. Things just got all fucking weird, man. But for those that are in the chat that weren't around back then, like I'm just saying, we used to like really have a good time. There wasn't all this weird shit going on. We used to just chill, man, and have a good time. We used to network, but we're gonna get back to that, man. I'm trying right now. I want to try and get the W number podcast on here, man. I want to interview him, man. He seems like a really good dude, and people have said I can interview well, and I really want to interview him, man. I wanna pick his brain and learn about his life, and I want to hear his story, man. So I'm in the process of reaching out to him and trying to see if we can get together. And in return, I'll go on his on his channel too. You know what I mean? However, but I want to get back to networking with guys, man, and starting to build this genre again and doing it the right way, the positive way, man, and trying to bring light to situations, man. Like that video we shared, before we got into Rick's paperwork, man. You know, there's a lot of corruption, man. Don't get me wrong, man. You break the law, you got to do the time. I get that. I get that, man. You got to pay your dues, man, in society. And I get that, man. And I did that. I took deals, man. I took deals on all my shit. I raised my hand and said guilty. You know what I mean? No contest, whatever. But I took it. I took it on the chin because I knew there was no way I was going to win in trial. I knew that there was too much on me and there was just no way I was going to win. And if I lost in trial, I was going to get 16 years with 80%. And I mean, that might have been a life sentence at that point for me. So, I mean, yeah, I took the 9 with 80. And then I caught 4 more years like a dummy, but who cares? It happened. It's over. It's done with. But there's corruption in there, man. There's corruption in there, and it needs to be brought to light, man. Hey, Uncle Dave. Well, if I did that, bro, I'm sorry, man. I apologize, brother. You've always been nothing but respectful, bro. It was probably just a crazy misunderstanding. I might have been sleeping or something. I don't know. I don't understand, man. Like, if somebody comes on my panel, listen, this is my logic in it, right? This is just my logic. If somebody comes on my panel and disrespects me and the people on the panel by taking their headphones off and not listening to a word I'm saying and just speaking out of his fucking headphone mic, um, I'm gonna take that as just flat disrespect, and he doesn't want to hold a conversation, and it's time to beat feet. Like, I don't want anybody on my panel that's going to be disrespectful and rude like that. Like, if you're not even going to listen, but you're going to yell and get your point across, but you're not going to listen to anything anybody else has to say, then there's no conversation. That's not a conversation. That's one person acting a fool and causing a scene and disrespecting a bunch of other people. Grown men at that. Men, grown men that have families, kids, houses, cars, jobs, men. You know, it's bizarre, man. It's bizarre behavior to me. I don't understand it. And I get content and entertainment, but it's like, it's not really that funny. It really isn't. It really isn't. Hearing somebody else lie about other people is not funny to me. It's not. Hearing people make false accusations on people and their women and their children and so forth, that's not funny to me. You know, some people might get a kick out of it and think it's good content and, people should hear it. But me personally, I think it's rude. And I think if those people had people doing it to them and their family and disrespecting their children and their wives and stuff, I bet you they probably wouldn't go that route no more. Just saying. Just speaking my mind a little bit. Just saying. Just speaking my mind freely. We all have that right? It's my channel. Exactly. It can be very dangerous, man. You just never know when you're talking to somebody that has had enough in life and might just spin the block. I'm just saying. It happens every day. Sometimes people are running real thin. Maybe they lost somebody very close to them in life. Maybe they just don't care no more. Maybe they're tired of everything going on in society and they just decided that they don't want to be here anymore. And, it's just a dangerous thing to do, man, to sit there and lie on people and do the shit that people do, man. So I agree. Yeah, and that's the thing though, man. Like, he shouldn't even be talking about that case right now, though, Jen. And I've read the case today, and he's not reading it right, man. He's not reading it right. He is not reading that case right, man. And there's some discrepancies in that case, man. And people should have some respect for that child and let the case play out. That's what should happen. But, I'm not the one talking about it and dealing with it, but it needs to just be set aside for now. and let the courts do what they're going to do with it. And then, after that, people can go ahead and look at what they want to look at and determine then. But right now there's a child involved in this, and I just think it's disgusting. So yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I've never heard of a mainline yard where they break bread with chomos, where they send chomos to deal with people. Like I said, the only prison story I've heard from this gentleman was regarding that dude Lowdown that I shared on another live. And it was a dude that ran up a debt that got hit by none other than a chomo. Got moved on by none other by a chomo. They sent a chomo on him. On an active yard, he says, on a prison yard, on a fucking high security, maximum level security prison yard in Minnesota. That's how they dealt with things. So, I don't know, but I've had people leave comments already and said that's not how things go down in that prison, and it's not even close to being anywhere close to California. But yeah, he's not being upfront about things. So I don't know, man. Are they, man? Nah, Vegas, they're about to win, bro. Fuck, man. The Hurricanes are about to lose, man. So I'm gonna do a story, man, the next day or so, man. I might not drop anything tomorrow. I might take a break tomorrow, but I'm trying to think of what I want to do next, man. As far as content, as far as a story, man. I have a couple ideas. I was thinking about telling you guys about the first murder I ever saw when I was incarcerated. Man, Fish Slayer, man, what's going on, brother? Salute, man. Hey, likewise, brother. It's been a while, man. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that, brother. Much love to you and the family, bro. I hope you're doing well, man. Fish Slayer in the house, man. I haven't seen that name in forever, bro. It has been a while, man. Man, I hope you're doing well, brother. I hope you and the family are doing well. I say anyone about anything would never do that. It's disrespectful. Only someone who has no clue what the outcome can be. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Obviously, people that do reckless stuff like that have never been in a real situation. People that allow people to spread dishonesty and shit like that, and they've never really been in anything serious. That's just facts, man. Because if they have, they would understand the repercussions that can come about from their actions, and they wouldn't do so. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I saw somebody else. No, it was a membership. Thank you for the membership. I think that was Nathan the B Man. Thank you, brother, for that. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. But so Miami just scored. No way, bro. I'm gonna have to go watch the end of this game, man. You guys are killing me right now. But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. I had a great night with you guys, man. I'm glad I was able to come on here, man. Listen, if you guys haven't, in the description below is Sunflower 33. If you didn't see the beginning of the live, we went over a video regarding Ronnie Lindell and the assault that he took at the hands of law enforcement officers while he was incarcerated. Please go back and watch it. And please be sure to go show Sunflower 33 some love, subscribe, and show the original uploader of that content some love. If you haven't subscribed to Vegas Profile Stories, please do. And there it is, folks. All the talking, all the nonsense, all the cap.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Stop the cap.
That's all it is, man. Brother's case got thrown out, man. Clear as day. We read the paperwork, all 10 fucking pages of that shit. We read the emails where he turned down a fucking probation deal on a possible 15-year case and went ahead and ran with it. Said, let's go to the box. And sure enough, his instinct was right. They didn't have shit, and they threw the case out. So all that talking about, this, that, this wouldn't happen, that wouldn't happen, blah, 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 blah. He had to, this and that. First of all, you weren't even looking in the right state. You're looking in Nevada still. You're not even looking in the right fucking state. See, that's what I mean. You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about. You're running off the mouth recklessly. You don't know what state you're looking in. You don't know nothing. You're just assuming shit because you're an idiot. That's what idiots do. They assume. So, I digress. Rick's case got thrown out. So all that shit can just go ahead and be swept under the carpet and be done with because it's all bullshit. So now if you see somebody talking about Rick poorly about that case, you can tell them, nah, I actually saw proof. It's all bullshit. Like, let's stop the false rumors. Let's stop the false narratives. Let's call liars and pieces of shit out when you see them. Right in their tracks. That's what we need to start doing. Straight up, man. Call a fucking spade a spade. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, Miss Thing. I see you, sis. I hope you're having a great night. And I hope you're doing well. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. I hope you have a blessed Monday night, a great week, prosperous week. And until next time, deuces, family.